Hi, it's Dick Gelderman here, and I'm here with Toby's another one of the interesting cases that the Golden Oldies have brought to us now. Toby was came from a council and was scheduled for euthanasia, except the Golden Oldies saved him. He's only a year or just over a year old, so he's not one of the classic Golden Oldies cases, but the reason he was scheduled for euthanasia is because of his front legs. From the front, they're not too bad. They just kick out a little bit. But if you look at him from side on, he's very, very nervous because he's been to so many different places. In a dog with normal front legs, you should be able to drop a straight line down the middle of the elbow, the middle of the wrist, and then that should hit the back of the front feet. So you can see he's back at the wrist. And Felicity, if you can come around the front here, you can see how that right front leg kicks out quite a lot. He's out like this. The left leg not so badly. And if we go back to the side-on shot here, when I get him to put his weight on that right front leg, which he's very uncomfortable with, you can see how much further that wrist drops to the ground. So I won't do that anymore with him. He's uncomfortable with that. So this is a problem or a disease called Carpal. Carpus is the fancy name for the wrist. Hyperextension syndrome. Hyper means over, so overextended. So his wrist is overextended. So rather than everything being in a straight line, the little bones in the wrist here are supporting him, and they're actually sliding backwards this way. So as those bones dislocate backwards, the whole of this front leg goes backwards, and the paws ends up being further and further forward. Now, if we leave Toby alone, within 12 months, he would be flat to the ground like this and actually walking on that stopper pad. And that is not consistent with life. He can't live like that, because what then happens is that these bones that are in here will eventually dislocate through the bottom of the foot, if that sort of makes sense. So we've taken x-rays to confirm all this, and his right leg is much worse than his left. And so what we're planning to do today is what's called a carpal fusion. So what I'm intending to do on this right leg, but I'll use the left leg as an example because it's closest to you guys, is I'm going to go in the front here, make an incision, and I'm going to weld, if that makes sense, I'm going to weld the radius and the ulna here to the first row of bones, and then I'm going to weld the second row of bones to the first row of bones to the second row of bones. So in effect, we're turning from here to here into one solid massive bone. He will lose about 80% of the function of his wrist. And that, it sounds bad, he's going to lose 80% of the function of his wrist, but it actually means he'll walk straight. He'll have a slightly funny gait. He'll be a little bit stiff and a little bit proppy, but he'll run and walk and do everything totally 100% normal. He'll be, he can't walk very far at the moment because he just collapses and he's in incredible pain. We'll do his right wrist first, because I'm hoping that when we do his right wrist or his right leg, that the left one, I'm hoping it's partly an innocent bystander. On x-ray, the left isn't nearly as bad as the right, and I'm hoping that at the moment he's loading his right wrist so badly he can't walk on it at all, so he's putting a lot of the load on the left and it's not coping. So I'm hoping that when we give him a good right front leg, the left one will recuperate. This is major orthopedic surgery, and I've got to congratulate the Golden Oldies for going ahead with this on a rescue dog. It's very, very, very delicate. It's very, very, very technical. There's lots and lots of things that can go wrong. So we'll do the surgery today. He'll have a stainless steel plate and probably 8 or 10 screws put in here to hold it together while it's knitting. He'll have a cast on the outside to protect everything. And he's got a long journey ahead of him, you know, an 8 to 10 week recuperation journey And I invite you to come along with Toby on that recuperation journey. We'll take some of the videos today from the surgery, during the surgery, and then over the next 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, we'll give you progressive updates on how he's going. So, so we're just prepping Toby for surgery. You can see that the leg is all clipped and ready to go. We're just about to prep him. You may wonder why we've also got this area on his back prepped. Well, we will get a bone graft from here. This is his ilium, and it's the best place to take a bone graft from. So once we have this all ready to go during the surgery, we'll grab a bone graft from here and pack it in here, which will make the healing go very, very much more quickly. So I've got the wrist exposed, and we're now in the process of dissecting down to get to all the little bones that are in the wrist and curating the cartilage off them so that they'll fuse. Each bone in the wrist has a layer of cartilage on the surface, and cartilage will never bond or bind to cartilage, so we've got to get all that cartilage off the surfaces in order to get the two bones, or the multiple bones in here to fuse together. The way we do that is with a curette or with a little burr. I've been at this for about an hour now, very carefully with this little curette, just removing the cartilage on every surface, every opposing bone surface. So onto the last little joint now, and then once I clean that out, then it's a matter of putting the plate on the front and putting the bone graft in. Alrighty, so we have destroyed the joint to create a new joint. Sounds a little bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? And then I've got the plating that's going to hold everything together. I've got the bottom 3 screws put in, and they actually go into the metacarpal bones here, or into one metacarpal bone. So the next thing I want to do is put one screw into the main bone in the carpus itself, and then we'll put the rest of the screws in the radius. Okay, so plate's in, graft is in, and we're in the process of closing up. You can see we're almost done, and then his leg goes in the cast. Here's the area we took the graft from. The area on his hip I pointed out earlier, I've still got to stitch that up. People say that after major surgeries where they've had a graft taken from the hip, they're actually more painful from the graft site than they are from the surgery site, and we typically find that in dogs as well. So we've got another hour or so to go. We've been at it for a couple of hours now, and then show you the final result when we get his cast on. Okay, Toby's done. He's in recovery. We've just turned the anaesthetic off. As you can see, he's got a nice cast on here to support everything while it's healing up. His graft site's been cleaned, and we'll keep him in overnight on morphine. Very important to have good quality pain relief after any surgery, especially in a major orthopaedic surgery like this. And he'll go home tomorrow and be reviewed on a regular basis, and I'll keep you up to date as we take x-rays and as we review him as to how he's going.